Yo, what's going on, everybody? Before we dive into today's show, I want to give a little alert to all the diehard viewers of the channel. We got some merch for the first time ever here on Vikings Now. We are coming out with our own merchandise, and our first design we're dropping is actually for this Valentine's Day. It's our Married Into This Vikings football t-shirts and also sweaters that we have here. If you just click the link, chatsports.com/VikingsVDay, I'll have that link for you guys in the description and the comment section of today's show. But I think this design is absolutely awesome. And if you guys got a wife, a girlfriend, or somebody you love in your life that you want to get them some Vikings Now merch, click that link, chatsports.com/VikingsVDay. And if you guys are buying a shirt/sweatshirt, give me those skulls down below. Also, if you guys plug in code VDAY5, we'll hook you guys up with $5 off the Vikings Now VDay gear. Now, this does end February 1st, but if you guys are going to get one, give me those skulls down below. All right, let's dive into today's show here. So coming up, we're going to be diving into our Minnesota Vikings mock draft 2.0. And since the Vikings don't have a GM right now, I will be taking over control as the Minnesota Vikings active GM on today's show. So right now, the Vikings draft capital for 2026 shakes out like this. You got to pick at number 18 in round 1, round 2 pick number 49, 2 picks in round 3, one of those thanks to Sam Darnold, then a comp pick. And you got to pick in round 5, 3 picks in round 6, and 2 picks in round 7. This is a Rick Spielman wet dream, having 3 picks in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. But we are going to have the Vikings trade down here to start today's mock draft. Switch it up a little bit. And we're going to have the Los Angeles Rams trading up from pick number 29 to pick number 18, and they will be including a second and a third round pick. So the Vikings move down 11 spots, pick up an extra second round pick and an extra third round pick. So it's 3 picks in the third round, 2 picks in the second, and you still have pick number 29. Now, why would the Rams do this? Maybe they want to trade up for a quarterback or a player they like. They have been ultra aggressive in years past, even though they haven't actually conveyed 2 trades, but they were calling up for Colson Loveland. They were calling up for Brock Bowers. This Rams front office, they are willing to move off future draft capital or other draft picks in that draft to land the prospect they like. So I could see this very well going down on draft day. But in round 1, pick number 29, we have the Vikings going with a safety out of Toledo, Emmanuel McNeel-Warren. I flat out love this guy. I was watching his tape earlier on today actually before Kwesi Adofo-Mensah got fired, funny enough. But this guy's an absolute stud. He's a big body, 6'2", got really good size on him, super long as well. And, this past season in coverage, only was thrown at 15 times, allowing only 6 completions for 116 yards, had 7 PBUs and 2 interceptions. Now, this guy filled up the stat sheet. Also, this past year in 13 games, 5.5 TFL, 7 PBUs, 2 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. Actually had a touchdown as well on the season. But when I go back and I'm watching this stuff, this guy's got great closing speed. And I mean that both in the pass defensive game and also the run defensive game, where this guy, he can close that gap so fast. Where, let's just say a running back's trying to get the perimeter on him, he'll close it super fast. Let's just say, tight end's running a hitch route over the middle of the field. Maybe he's running some middle zone. He'll close that super fast. And also his long arms kind of allow him to do that because he can just get those long arms out in front, get a nice PBU. Now, he does probably project more as a box safety in the NFL, which is why I do have him as very Harrison Smith-esque. I think he can play in the box. He can also bail out to a deep zone coverage if needed to be, and he's great against the run. He's a willing tackler. Now, I think the only, negative I could see about McNeel-Warren is him playing at Toledo. So, when I'm watching his tape, he's not playing against, the top-end competition like SEC and Big Ten football, but also Quinion Mitchell from Toledo, and he turns out to be one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. So, I take a chance on McNeel-Warren, but you guys let me know your thoughts on this question. Who's the biggest Vikings draft bust of all time? I guess for me, in the modern day, since I'm only 26 years old here, it's got to be Laquan Treadwell or Christian Ponder. I know there's that guy in 1999 the Vikings drafted where he literally went to one practice. He was a first-round pick, did not show up for the rest of the season. Literally just went to one practice, did not show up, was a first-round pick. Could you imagine if that happened nowadays? But you guys let me know your thoughts. Who's the biggest Vikings draft bust of all time? Now in round 2 here, we're going to have the Minnesota Vikings staying in the secondary and getting Indiana cornerback D'Angelo Ponds. Now, I'm a massive fan of D'Angelo Ponds. This guy's super feisty. He is a little undersized, but he plays a lot bigger than his size. And, it could maybe limit his ability to go against taller and longer receivers in the NFL, like the guys that are like T. Higgins. But even when he was going up against a guy like Carnell Tate this past year, he put on some good tape against him as well. So even though he is smaller, he's an ultra competitor. Very instinctual player. He had a great game against Miami in the title game. Very quick feet. He does have a track background, which I absolutely love. I think this guy would be a great scheme fit with Brian Flores. You can play him in the nickel. You can play him outside. So I think him being undersized, like if this guy was 6 foot or 5'11" even, he probably is maybe behind, Jamon McCoy and Mansour Delane. He'll probably be the third corner taken if he was 5'11", 6 foot. But even if he was 6 foot, he might be the number one cornerback taken. Like he's got that much talent. This guy's athletic profile is great. He's just a very fluid athlete as well. I would have no doubt that if he falls around 2, pick 49, and the Vikings take him, I think it would be a home run pick. But let's move back to offense here. Round 2, pick number 61, we're going to have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Auburn center Connor Lew. Now, the center position for the Vikings is an interesting one because I think there is a good chance that Ryan Kelly ends up getting cut this offseason. The Vikings will save about $8 million. But then if you do cut Ryan Kelly, it's a massive need and a massive hole in your offense at the center position. So more on Lew here. He's got decent size for a center, 6'3", 303 pounds. I will say on his frame, it's not like he's the most physically imposing guy. I think he could add on some more strength. It could just happen with him getting older, adding some more grown man strength on his frame. But I like that he's 3 years starting at Auburn. He's a decent athlete, could definitely get better. He's not like how Garrett Bradbury profiled when he was coming out, like an elite pulling center, and he could get outside in those outside zone running schemes. That's not necessarily Lew, but he could also be a mauler when he gets downhill, and he's a quick striker. Like he throws his hands super quick, which guys who are quick strikers in college, that normally translates pretty easily to the NFL level. So we're going to take him in round 3 and sticking in round 3, pick number 82. We're going to get one of the best players in college football this past season and a hell of a mustache. We're going to go with the Texas Tech linebacker Jacob Rodriguez. Now, Jacob Rodriguez, this guy is he's an interesting choice because this guy was so damn good in college. I mean, you guys see his PFF grades up on screen right now. Like, overall, number 1 linebacker in the country. Number 1 in run defense. A 95.3 run defense grade. Absolutely ridiculous. Great in coverage. Played a lot of snaps. So this guy's a hell of a player. He's got great football instincts. Like, this guy really was one of the best players in college football. Can it translate to the NFL? That's where the question marks start with Jacob Rodriguez. I think it will to a certain degree. I don't know if he'll be as dominant at the college football level or at the NFL level as he was in college football. But again, a third rounder with the talent level this guy has, I'd rather take a risk on him and his natural skills and his natural ability translating to the NFL. He's also dominating the Senior Bowl. So I think this guy maybe this is a draft pick where like this time next year we're saying, man, how did Jacob Rodriguez fall to the third? This guy was one of the better players in college football. Why did teams pass him up? Hopefully that's the case. But again, guys like that, sometimes they're just busting the NFL. They're great college players, not great NFL players, but I'll be willing to take a risk on them in round 3. Now, here's another guy that I think is a major risk of a pick. Justin Joly, NC State tight end. I'm not going to lie to you. I was not familiar with this guy's game before filming this video, but I watched his highlight tape, and he's an interesting prospect. So he's got decent size. He's got an interesting build for a tight end, I should say. 6'3", 251 pounds. He looks a lot bigger than 6'3". I thought he was going to maybe come in at 6'4", 6'5", but the route tree he runs is very interesting. Like a lot of hitches, a lot of drags, a lot of screens. He's not necessarily running a lot of seam routes or deep crossers. Like he's not like a Brock Bowers or a Sam Laporta style tight end. Honestly, kind of reminds me a little bit of a TJ Hawkinson type of tight end. But the thing I do love about him, great red zone threat. Like, even though he is 6'3", he feels like he's 6'6". He's got super big hands, a super long wingspan. And I put the note, looks like he played basketball. The way he plays the tight end position, like when he's running his hitch routes, it's literally like he's posting up in the post. Or when he's running like a skinny post, he'll kind of seal him off, go up, make a play on the football. So Justin Joly, if the Vikings do end up cutting TJ Hawkinson, watch out for this guy in round 3. I would have some interest in taking him at that spot. Both the third round pick in this year's mock draft for the Vikes, my draft favorite by far. Like this is a guy like where I'm going to be saying the Vikings cannot lead this draft without Penn State running back Kaytron Allen. Kaytron Allen is the second best running back in this year's class. I think he's better than Jadarian Price. I think he's better than his teammate Singleton. This guy's a freak in nature. His legs are huge. He's just one of those guys where he's just a motherfucker to tackle. Like his legs are massive. He's got great burst. He's got great short area quickness as well. It's tough to give him a comp to who he could be in the NFL. Like I think he's kind of reminds me of like a like if A.J. Dillon was really good. Like that's how his physical profile I think could translate. But Kaytron Allen, I think this guy's going to be a stud. I thought he was going to be a stud if he was going to come out last year. I wanted the Vikings to take him, but now he's finally coming out, finally a draft. Take him at the end of round 3, and that's my favorite NFL draft prospect. If I have to be honest, it's Kaytron Allen. I love the name. I love his tenacity. I love the way he runs the football. You guys let me know. Who's your favorite NFL draft prospect? Drop that name down below. All right, so now the Vikings got a 5th rounder, 3, 6, and 2, 7. So a lot of these guys, not going to go too in-depth on them, but we have the Vikings adding some talent to the defensive line with this pick. Texas defensive tackle Cole Brevard. Big old body in the middle, really opens up lanes well for his linebackers. Is a key part of the Texas defense. Has good pedigree, highly recruited coming out of high school. So in the 5th round, add some more depth there to that defensive line. Wouldn't be opposed to that. Now this guy, I doubt he falls to 6th round. I think he could be a 4th round pick eventually. TJ Guy, Michigan edge rusher, freaky athlete, terrible against the run at Michigan, but he's just a true pass rusher. And if the Vikings could somehow get him to develop into just being like an every down guy, maybe he could do that with Brian Flores. But I could also see him being like an immediate like 3rd down impact guy. Like I think he's got some specialty to him where when he is just pinning his ears back, he can be very productive. So watch out for TJ Guy in round 6 and the 2nd pick in round 6. We're gonna have the Vikings going another cornerback here. Out of USC, DJ Harvey, good athlete. Will he be there in round 6? I also doubt that. I kind of got a little lucky with a lot of these guys falling. Probably will end up going in round 5. But the cornerback out of USC, DJ Harvey, will go there. And then a guy who was awesome during the college football playoff, Roman Hemby. If you could somehow lead this draft, and this is probably if you only do cut Aaron Jones this offseason, you leave with Hemby and Kaytron Allen, I think that'd be a steal. I mean, then you got Jordan Mason physical, Hemby physical, Kaytron Allen ultra physical. Just add some more physical backs in that backfield. I would love that. And then round 7, linebacker who was a college football stud actually, Lander Barton. This guy's a freak. Don't know if he'll even get drafted. He might be a UDFA, but I remember watching Utah one time this year, and this guy was making plays all over the field, so that's why I took him. And then my favorite selection, we're going to take this guy at pick 240 every single mock draft we do here on the channel, just to kind of keep the bit going. Squirrel White. Why are we drafting Squirrel in the 7th round? Because his name is Squirrel. That's it. If you know, you know. We'll keep this bit going on the channel this entire offseason. But this is the entire mock draft here for the Vikes. Trade down from pick 18 to number 29. Get Emmanuel, McNeel-Warren, D'Angelo Pons, Connor Lew, Jacob Rodriguez, Justin Joly, Kaytron Allen, Cole Brevard, TJ Guy, DJ Harvey, Roman Hemby, Lander Barton, and Squirrel freaking White. Grade this mock draft for me, A, B, C, D, or F, and we'll get on out of here. As always, let's go Vikes.